Hello, and welcome to my first monthly book haul. Now, I don't know if a lot of you have seen book hauls, but basically the person just goes and talks about the books that they've obtained the previous month. And I decided to include the library books that I got recently too, because, well, I love library trips. And even when I go in and say, I'm only getting this one book, it never happens. So, the last time I went to the library was to get a new card because I thought I'd lost mine, which ironically it turned out that it was at the library the whole time, but that's a different story. Um, I went in to see when the book club meetings were as well, and apparently they're the fourth Monday of every month. So I got the book club meeting book, but I also got a few others. So I'm going to share those with you, and then I'm going to share the normal monthly book haul books. So the first book I got is called Impulse by Ellen Hopkins. And I've already started reading it. I'm like 50 something pages in. So far I really like it. It's a very depressing book of poetry, to say the least. It's about these three people who are in a mental hospital for the same reasons, and basically that's all that they have in common. But it's nice to see their perspective so far. I can't wait to continue reading it, and I will let you know in its review what I think of it. The next book is called Crank, also by Ellen Hopkins. The reason I even got these two books is because there is a 2016 challenge, and one of them's a book of poetry, and I just couldn't decide which one of them I wanted to read, so I grabbed them both. And I don't know much about this book, except that the back says Katrina Georgia Snow is the perfect daughter, gifted high school junior, quiet, never in any trouble, but on a trip to visit her absentee father, Katrina disappears and Bree takes her place. Bree is the exact opposite of Christina. She's fearless. So it sounds interesting. So I'll let you know in this review what I think of it. I also got the Delirium trilogy. I don't know if many of you know about that, but it's Delirium by Lauren Oliver, Pandemonium, also, and the last book is Requiem. Requiem. All of them are about this girl who lives in a society that believes that love is a disease. I've heard this on audiobook, but I've never actually like read it. And I love listening to audiobooks, but I always try to take time to go back and read them because it's just there's so much more that you can get out of it by actually reading it. But audios are fun too. Anyways, this is a great trilogy and I do recommend it, and I will be posting a video of my review after I read them. Up next from the library still is the Night World series. I've been wanting to read these. They're by L.J. Smith. I've been wanting to read these since I saw them forever ago. I never got around to getting them, and then I saw all three volumes, which each have 3 books in them, at the library, and I'm like, you know what? Here's my opportunity. I'm going to take it. I'm going to splurge, and I'm going to get them and see what they're like. And pretty soon you will know what I think of them. And the last book that I got from the library is We Are Not Ourselves by Matthew Thomas. And ironically enough, this is what I went to the library for, because this is the book club book. And I don't know what it's about yet. I haven't taken the time to read the inside cover or anything like that. I kind of want to be surprised, like I am with all the book club month books. This is the first monthly book club meeting that I have been to in over a year, and I'm nervous about it, but I'm so excited because I love reading and I love being around people who love reading. So we shall see how that goes. And now for the books that I have bought. I am sorry I keep bending over. I have them all in a box right next to me. So first of all is a book series that I have seen a lot on Facebook. Like a bunch of people that I know are really excited about the latest book that came out. So I looked into the series and I was like, this is really cool because it's actually a book based on a fairy tale, which is like the top of the 2016 challenge. So I'm like, I have to get this. So Cinder by Marissa Meyer is the first book I got. I got it at Barnes & Noble, and it was kind of a funny story because I asked the first girl about it, and she was like, "Oh, we don't have it. We'll look in the back. I'll look in the back." She looked in the back, and they didn't have it. So I was like, "Well, do you have any book that's based on a fairy tale that you would like to recommend?" And actually, at this point, I was talking to somebody else. Like, "Oh, well, we should have that book." And they looked in the back and found a copy. And it's like, well, where did the first girl go? I didn't say anything. I didn't even bother complaining about it. But I got the book. I was happy. And I decided to just go ahead and splurge and get the rest of the series. So the rest of the series is Scarlet, Crest, Fairest, and Winter. All of these books seem really amazing, and I cannot wait to dig into them. It seems like every book has a fairy tale character in it that's being introduced into the series storyline, because it's all the same storyline, it looks like. And it's really interesting. It's going to be nice to have like a little science fictional twist to it. I cannot wait to read it, and I will definitely let you all know what I think of it. Up next is Cross Justice. I got this as a Christmas gift from my boyfriend. Every time it comes to gifts, the very first thing he goes for is the latest James Patterson series James Patterson, because he knows I really like James Patterson a lot. And this is the latest in the Cross series. So this is another thing I'm looking forward to reading. If anybody hasn't seen the teaser video for this, you really should watch it. It's hilarious. Up next is Duma Key by Stephen King. Technically, this is boyfriend's book, but we've decided that we share books, so he said I could include it in the book haul. He says that he makes a point to read this once a year. He reads it one time every year. So, I mean, if he can reread it that much every year, it's obviously worth reading. I sadly have not read it yet, but I have read a few other Stephen King's books, and I like them. So, I mean, I'm sure I won't be disappointed by this one. Up next is Accidental Leigh by Melanie James. I won this in a giveaway, and I've already listened to this in audiobook, and I really loved it. I've also listened to the second book in audiobook. But it's just, like I said earlier, it's something about reading these books that just make it so much better. And I can't wait to read it. I can't wait to read the rest of the series, too. She's a main character. She makes really witty, really smart, really just adorable. I love it. I love her friends. I love the little book boyfriend she has. I fully recommend this series. And yeah, you definitely should read it, especially if you like some intense books. Up next is Bloodstripe by Gina Marcia DiNiccolo. I don't know if I said that name right, but I was requested to read this by the publisher, and I'm really excited to dive into it. I haven't really read much into it, but it looks really interesting, and it's a nice little cover. Up next is Revenge of the Sea by Jesse Giles Christensen. This is the latest in the Captain Shelby trilogy. I won his contest forever ago for Book Nerd for Life. So I get a signed copy every time he gets a new release. And I'm a really big fan of his because he is really talented, and I fully recommend all of his books. This is one of the books I have not read yet, but I am fully excited to get into it, and fully recommend you check them out. Next is Myths and Legends. I found this at Barnes & Noble on sale, and I don't know about many of you guys, but if I see a book on sale, especially like this, I have to pick it up. Like, I have no impulse control when it comes to that. Unless I'm broke, then I'm like, and I just talk about it. Next is Grimm's Complete Fairy Tales. Another book that was on sale, and you can obviously see why I just had to get this. It's definitely a must-have if you're a really intense reader of that kind of thing. And lastly is a series by PC Cast. I think it's called the Goddess Summoning series. I'm not 100% sure. My mom found most of the series at Goodwill. She got all of them for me, but 1 and 3, which I wound up getting on Amazon. So I have the whole series. I just don't know what order they're in. So this one is Warrior Rising. This one is Goddess of Light. This is either 1 or 3. I can't remember which one. This is Goddess of Love. This is Goddess of the Sea. I think this is the first one, but it could also be the third one. This is Goddess of the Legend. Or Goddess of Legend, I'm sorry. This is Goddess of Spring. And this is Goddess of the Rose. Now, for all of those who don't know who PC Cast is, her and her daughter wrote a series called the House of Night series, which a lot of people didn't like because they thought it went on forever, but I personally loved them. But anyways, that is my book haul for the month. I will see you guys all the beginning of February for the book haul for January. I hope you all enjoyed this. Let me know any books that you got in December. Did you get any great Christmas gifts, etc.? And I hope you all have a wonderful month.